Ah, hello, world out there, soul seekers, as we have been defining. Um, Christina McCarty here. I have been going through quite a bit of adjusting and experiences, and I am feeling really compelled to kind of get on here and talk about some of the thoughts and experiences that have played out for me recently. You know, I'm not sure if I have shared about my adventures that I am experiencing and going through, but I am in the process of redefining the way I live in very huge ways. Um, Obviously, we know that I have been working with uh, the practice of the law of attraction. And for the last 3 years, I managed a book study online through Meetup. And I met some, I have met some amazing people during that time and during all of those experiences. If you are looking for a way to really embrace some shifting in your world, I do highly recommend the teachings of Abraham Hicks through Esther Hicks and the experiences of the law of attraction. We have several groups of people that work with the practices in many different ways through meetup.com. So I would definitely will make sure to put the links to that in the box below. This year, instead of me facilitating the entire book study on my own, I have created such an amazing community with this experience that we have several facilitators that were willing to step up. And so this year, with the book study Ask and It Is Given, you can experience many different facilitators at each session. And we are taking the teachings of the processes into a more thorough direction. And so, very exciting things happening with that. Um, there's no fee to be involved, but there is community and resources for you to be able to take a look at things in your life regarding the practices of the law of attraction. Um, really fun. I got to actually facilitate process two 2 weeks ago, and process two is a process called the creation box. It's very similar to vision boarding for those of you that may have done that in the past. However, what you do is you take different things that you would like to see in your life, and in the book, it describes that you create a box and you put these things in the box and you set aside and forget about it. With the practice of the law of attraction, there are um, three different, I guess, rules you could say, right? Rule one is ask for what you want. And the next step two, is really none of your business, because in all actuality, what we ask for is always available to us and is always given. Step three is working in your personal life to create the vibrational match so that you can allow the things that you want to have come into your life to manifest. The fun thing is that last year I decided to try this in a different way. Instead of creating a box where I put things in a box, I decided to do it on the computer. And I did this practice where I'd come on the computer every once in a while and I just sort of sift around on different things. I started throwing in there, that I'd like to go on a vacation, throwing in there that I would, maybe like to be more financially sound, different things that would bring me joy, that would bring me experiences. And a part of that actually was the idea of having an RV. And so in my folder last year, I had put different pictures of different RVs, with the idea of me creating that and manifesting that in my world. So, for those of you that don't know, this year, through several different happenings within my life, I made some very radical decisions, and I made the decisions one step at a time. The first one being that I was going to decide to move out of the little home that I'd been living in for a couple of years. This was um, kind of a radical choice on my part, but some movement needed to be made, and I had an opportunity to house sit, which is something that I've been doing for the past year, for a person that is actually headed to I was actually heading to Alaska for a few months. And so that, provided me with an opportunity to have a place that I was going to be stationed out for a few months and to figure out next steps. Um, with that, I started talking with different people, and I have these clients. I am also a massage therapist, and so I was working with my clients, and I sort of just spouted it out there. I said, who knows? Maybe this is my segue into considering the idea of RV living, which is something that I have always kind of toyed with and wanted to do. And lo and behold, my clients were selling their RV. So, a few months later, I'm getting close to the end of my period at the home where I've been house sitting for my client that's in Alaska. And have purchased an RV, and through an extension of time planned, I was able to work out a trade with one of my clients, to get cabinets painted and updated. And over the next few weeks, I am going to be moving into my new little home. And it is also going to be one that I own, which is as well a very different experience for me in my life. I have not actually ever owned my own place. I have always been the kind of person that has rented. So being able to go in and decide, hey, I think I want to paint some radical colors, and having the freedom and the ability to do that has been very, very fun for me. Um, on some levels, I could imagine that some people may think that this sounds small, but for someone like me, this has been magnificent and outstanding changes to my world and how I am doing things, and I'm super excited about it. One of the things that I realized was that even when I was young, even when I was little, there was always that part of me that wanted to explore the world, explore different things. And, there was this part of me that really never had the desire to be tethered down to one place all the time. That was the way that I experienced my younger years. We, lived in one house, had the stability, same community, never moved around. And I know that in a lot of ways, that sounds like the correct kind of consistency for what the standard of living and healthy is. However, I tend to always want to look outside of the box for that. And in some ways, for me in my life, I wonder sometimes if we've created such a way of thinking that we need to have standard this, always the same routine, always doing things the same way. If there's possibly a part in there of for myself anyways, a false sense of security, because the truth is that this is not a world of consistency. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but It is ever changing. It is ever shifting. There are always things in upheaval. Um, the earth beneath our feet, it seems sound, but it is always in movement. And it's really cool for me to be the last few days I've been re-reminded of that a little bit, that when I was younger, that I had these ideas and these thoughts and these philosophies. And then, you get caught up in the minutia of life, of people, of drama, of hurts, of experiences, and then all of a sudden we start threading together these belief systems, and we create worlds based on these belief systems. But even belief systems, if you think about it, are simply practiced thought. And anything that we think that we know, as soon as we think we know anything and everything, the one thing that I have learned is that it always ends up changing. There's more to learn, there's more to know, and we are just on the tip of the iceberg of all of that. um, it's interesting. I had an experience. I had been speaking with a person that I've known for years and years, but we had lost contact for many years. And maybe about 10 years ago, reconnected and have been speaking online and talking and chatting and maybe flirting and, all this kind of stuff. And um, we never have had an opportunity to connect or to meet up with each other. And there's been a few different times where it could have possibly happened, but it didn't. And, the last conversation that I had with this person actually ended up being kind of an intense conversation, because there was something brought up from that person that directly suggested that they knew things about my past when I was younger that I didn't necessarily think that they knew about me. And the thing is that I have been the kind of person that has lived many, many different kinds of lifestyles and lifetimes within my life. If you were to timeline all of the different experiences, all the different kinds of relationships, um, all the different things that I've done, um, there would absolutely be a lot of probably opinions and judgments, um, based on that. I went through, well, and even still go through times in my life where um, I struggle with my self-esteem and my self-worth. Last video, I spoke a lot about um, judgment, and I spoke about the fact that this year, the theme that keeps running through my mind is you become what you judge, you become what you judge. And I shared very briefly that I had been able to look at my past and my lifetime and see where those kinds of things happened for me, where I had certain judgments about certain people, certain places, certain activities, certain things. And as my life has transpired, a lot of the things that I judged, I became. Um, I I have been with many people in my life, um, and I have participated in many things that maybe at the time I thought would gain me something like the attention of others or care and love of others. And, a lot of times I was just thinking, well, if I can do these things for other people, then other people will like me or love me. And, as the cliche of all that goes, we know that that's not truly how love works. And there are a lot of people out there that are just willing to take whatever you give them just because you're willing to give it. And there are a lot of people out there that are also willing to turn around and condemn you and make you wrong or bad in the world because of the things that you've chosen to do. And so it was very interesting when this was brought up, when it was shared with me that this person knew something about my past that I had done. I realized I realized within that the communication that we had this entire time was based on something that he thought of me and of the things that I had been through or done. And the the hurt of that definitely hit hard enough, obviously, that I'm speaking through tears right now. However, the beautiful thing that I have learned through becoming what I have judged is that once you get beyond the things that you've done, the hurts that you've caused to yourself and others, once you get to a place where you can recognize those things and you can begin working on the forgiveness of those things for yourself, and honestly, maybe even getting to the point beyond needing that forgiveness for those things that you've done, because truly underneath the veils of this world, of the density of the hurts and the pains that we experience, underneath all of that is still the truth of who we are. And the truth of who we are is who we have always been inside. Um, I am weathered, experienced, a little bit beaten up, broken in some ways. Um, and yet, I am also still the same beautiful soul that was born into this body when I got here. And this time that we're in, um, this world that we're in, and the specific space that we're in is one of great transition. This this earth that we are living on is ascending, and we are ascending with her. Um, and the most beautiful thing is that on the other side of all of the things that I maybe did when I lost my focus to who I really am, all of those things, they made me more compassionate. They made me be able to look at other people and begin to see through judgment into the spirit and the love of who they truly are. And I can hold hands with a person who tells me maybe most of the horrific things that they have either been through or done. And I can hold space knowing that beyond all of that, even they deserve love. And so for that alone, I am grateful for who I've I don't know, grown into and become now. And what it is it's an even truer expression of who I've always been and who I really am. When I was a little girl, I carried a lot of ego about looking out in the world and seeing what people were doing. And, you know, I wanted to be this perfect example of, I don't know, um, pure white divinity. And my actions took a turn that wouldn't describe that in the world. But you know what? Beyond those actions, I can still express pure love and pure light. And I am divine. And so are you. I feel like that we all have our own ways of expressing who we are. And not all of us are going to be able to connect and resonate with those things. But that does not mean that you should ever squash those beautiful things that you have inside to express who you are because there is something beautiful in that out there for someone, well, for yourself, really. And I don't know, I just really wanted to share about this because we get so caught up in the pain of our past or the pain of the decisions that we make. And we also get so caught up in thinking that we know right or wrong, whatever that is. And we get so caught up in thinking that we get to tell other people what right and wrong is for them. These political things that are happening. I mean, we have to remember that we are a collective. And the more we stay divided, the more we stay focused on dividing what we think is the good and the bad, the more distracted we are from the true purpose of even being here and experiencing. There's love to be had all around for everyone. That is the truth of who we are. We are eternal light souls here experiencing a denser version. And the more we continue to hate and separate, the more we perpetuate that ego that that wants us to stay in fear. I don't care what side of the political fence you stand on. I love you all. Um, you know, we've heard the sayings, together we stand, divided we fall. Um, I I want people to know out there that if you are hurting and struggling, maybe because of things that have happened to you in your life or choices that you've made that were not very savory, or judgments that are being cast upon you because of how you choose to be in the world, don't let that don't let that define you or bring you down. We all have an opportunity to decide what kind of being we are going to show up to be in the world. And the great news is that it doesn't matter who you were, it matters who you are. And with that granted, as you begin to shift, things will come up for you to look at and for you to process. And you know what? When they do, wonderful. Look at them, process them, feel them, yell about them, be angry about them, cry, but do not let those things define you. Because in my life now, I get to experience the most amazing people, my clients, my friends, my connections. Hell, I started a band, right? I'm doing music. I'm getting beyond my stage fright fear, which has been with me since I was a little girl. I am expressing myself into the world, and I am bringing my light and my love out into the world. And there could be many people that could step forward and try to do kind of like how the politicians do, tear me down, degrade me, bring up shit that I've done in the past that people would probably cringe about, out me in so many ways about who I am in my life. But the great thing is that I can own it all and still stand in the knowledge that I have persevered beyond the judgments, and I can express true love. And that is what I want to give to the world. And that is what I want to experience for me. And that is what I think we all truly desire. It's freedom and love. And that doesn't come out there in the world by what you do, what you give, who you have. That comes in here with the knowledge of the beautiful being that you are and the strength to stand tall in that. So, uh, raw as I always am, this was definitely something that I wanted to share from my heart. Um, my world is moving in beautiful ways, and it may not look like the the perfect picture for what other people might want for their lives, but you know what? I'm creating the perfect picture for me. And I'm loving every minute of it. I have traveled more this year than I have traveled in 10. And I have gotten to experience ladies' weekend in Rocky Point. I'm getting ready to take another road trip uh, with a friend of mine to Tennessee where I can see across the country. I took on a bigger role in my auxiliary at the American Legion. I'm now the auxiliary president of the American Legion. I am letting go of experiences and things maybe that were toxic, and I am really learning to embrace what is before me that is beautiful and that feels good. And that is the focus, what we should be focusing on, or what I would like to focus on for myself. Because I certainly should not be telling anybody else what they should do. um, I look forward to sharing so much more. I look forward to sharing more of the band, more of our new songs. I know that we have our own goals that we're doing with that. Um, I am looking forward to sharing updates about my RV. The colors that I decided to paint inside are green and yellow and purple, which sounds kind of wild, but when you look at it all together, it turned out fantastic. Um, I'm going to be downsizing again. When I moved out of my little house, I downsized so much to try to prepare for this move into the RV, and I very quickly realized that in the past 3 months I have only needed the handful of things that have gotten me through my day-to-day life here. And I have boxes that I haven't even had to look in. And I wonder if I haven't needed them in the last 3 months, do I need any of that at all? We're so attached to stuff. It is so silly for me, anyways. Um, anyways, I I just wanted to get on here and to share and to be real and to connect. And, um, I really enjoyed, as you guys know, I listen to a lot of different um, speakers, healers, Christina Lopes, Lee Harris, Michael Mirdad. Michael Mirdad had a really great talk this last Sunday. If you are interested, I highly recommend checking him out. He's funny and he's real and he's amazing in his guidance. Um, and so, with that, I am going to end this stream. I am in love with my life and the world and with you. And I know that we are definitely in times that can seem very fearful, but really, really, really work to not let the fear get to you, because nothing, absolutely nothing in this world can change the truth of who we are. Thank you.